Hey, Bill, what do you think is the worst thing that could happen when you take your car to a mechanic?
I don't know, they overcharge you, your car comes back smelling like cigarettes?
Bill, you idiot. Not even close. This next caller, their car falls off of a lift, is completely totaled, and the mechanic doesn't even have insurance.
Stay tuned for our next call on Hardly Legal when we find out what happens to this Corvette.
How did you not remember this one? You were on the call.
I have my daughter here. She's the one who's gonna be interpreter.
Okay, awesome. Although your English sounds pretty good, I think you're giving yourself too much slack. Okay.
I feel like this is one of yours,
Thank
Mitch.
you.
I feel like Mitch is going to take over this one.
Okay. And this is about the car issue. Give me the brief issue that you're talking about today.
My uncle basically took his car over to a mechanical shop on Saturday morning for an oil change,
Yeah.
and they lifted the car up and the car fell.
Okay.
And then after that, they like right away wanted to tow it out. They didn't really want to work with us. And basically they said we were just like asking for too much money and that they weren't
And
gonna.
they denied to have insurance.
Oh, they did. They said they did not have insurance. Yes.
Okay.
Wow. What kind of car was it?
Corvette.
Wow.
Ooh, yikes.
And about how much was the car worth?
We're not sure. It's about.
¿Cuánto crees?
My brother say like 50K. 15.
15. Well, my uncle says 15K.
Okay.
Sure. Okay. And then is the car drivable right now, or is it like completely totaled?
We don't know. Se quedó ahí en el lugar, ¿verdad?
Se
The
quedó.
car is still in that same place in
Okay.
the shop.
La grúa de ellos lo volteó y ahí se quedó el carro.
The tow truck just kind of flipped it over and the car stayed there.
Wow. Okay. Now, do you have insurance?
La liability.
Liability.
Okay. And what about the building itself?
No idea.
So who has been your contact with these mechanics?
Su abogada de ellos.
And their lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what has their lawyer said?
Que van a arreglar todo lo exterior, el daño que ellos hicieron, pero que no van a arreglar problemas que supuestamente el carro ya tenía.
That they said that they would fix up the car from the outside, like what they caused, the everything that fell apart basically, but that they wouldn't fix the issues that the car had beforehand. Although my uncle says that the car had no issues beforehand. So we're thinking that they probably messed up like the transmission and stuff like that, but that they're not going to want to fix that for free.
Just
We
so
don't know for
we have a
sure.
little context, how far did the car fall off? Just for our listeners at home, like how like did it fall a foot? Did it fall on its side? Tell us about that.
Se cayó en el lado, no? It fell to the side,
Pero no sabemos cuál.
but we don't know exactly like at what height. But yeah, if you guys have
I'm
seen
looking
the
at.
pictures,
I'm,
looking
I'm
at the
actually
photos.
looking
Yeah,
at the
we're looking
photos.
at the
So
photos now.
the car fell about 4.5, 5 feet.
yeah, they
Yeah.
said it was pretty loud.
I believe it.
Yeah.
If the car had no issues, why was it at the shop to begin with?
Good question, Geoff.
No, nada más fue por un cambio de aceite.
Oil change.
Oh, oil
Yeah.
change and your car falls off the thing.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Has the lawyer communicated with you in writing, or has it just been phone calls?
¿Cómo se sacó de
No, de las dos maneras. Ellos tuvieron una meeting también a través de Zoom ayer y ella mandó un, ¿cómo se llama? Un email con todos los detalles.
Email and phone calls both. They also had a meeting yesterday through Zoom.
Okay.
And so what are they offering to give, and what do you?
They're offering to just fix the cosmetic damage.
Yeah, that's all they're offering is to fix the outside of the car. So like
Is there
everything that's scraped off and everything.
so is
We
there
tried-
have you had a mechanic that is not I think this is going to have to be the starting point of this conversation. I think that car is going to need to be evaluated by a mechanic.
We
100%.
Yeah.
we have tried. We have called so many like people, and none of them want to like do it for us. None of them want to go evaluate the car.
Really?
Pero es lo que queremos hacer. Ajá.
Yeah, but that's exactly what we've been trying to do because we don't trust them to fully fix the car to the best ability. So we've called so many places to see if someone can personally go evaluate the car and the damages and just basically make sure that like they're going to do it right. But no one has wanted to so far.
That's crazy because I'm looking at this post that you made that is how we found you, and it's got 1.2 thousand likes on it already. It's and 1,000 shares. It's kind of crazy to me that no mechanic would want the goodwill of being the person that did this. So maybe that's something we can help with. Usually we help with like legal issues, but we'll talk a little bit of legal issues, but
You got to get a baseline. The most important part is understanding, because I will be shocked if there isn't some more than cosmetic damage, just given what appears to be the year of the car, how far it fell, the fact that it fell on its side, etc. I mean, look, it might be that it's just cosmetic, and that's fine. But if ultimately there's going to be concerns that they would do it right. I mean, if you can't even change an oil without dropping a sports car on its side, I'm a little worried about your ability to do anything else more substantive. I mean, like, I can change the oil of a car, and I'm not trying to lift it up on, some pylons or whatnot. So that's the first thing. And what it might take and what might be necessary is to tow it somewhere else, because most mechanics and other people don't want to go work in someone else's shop. There's other liability, there's other issues that come along with that, but you can take it to another shop, have them evaluate it. And here's the thing, you're not in a better or worse spot, because if you already don't trust that they're going to do the work right, you shouldn't leave it there.
And this is not great news. Like, we like to tell people good news. Like, hey, you've mailed this letter in and everything's fixed. That's not the situation that you're in right now, okay? But for $15,000 as the value of the car, we're probably talking about like anywhere from like, $2,000 to maybe $8,000 in damage if it's the transmission. It could be more, right?
Yeah.
At a certain point, you start to ask, what is the salvage value of the vehicle? You're not going to be able to get this done, whether you sue them in small claims court, whether you negotiate with their attorney and get a check ultimately. However this ends, and unfortunately we can't tell you how to end it today, you're not going to be able to win and get that number done until you have this independent
Right, because you don't
mechanic.
know what the damages are. And so you won't really know, is it fixed or is it not fixed, until you have someone look at it. So if they're not going to, you can't get someone to go there and do it, and you don't trust them to look at it, then the best way to do it is to get it towed. There's some specific car shops and whatnot that deal with Corvettes. They know how to evaluate those issues. We can send you some of those names. And then you're probably just it's going to be worth it to just get it towed to one of those shops and have them look at it.
What type of people did you call when you asked for people to look at it?
Hablaste a un shop de Corvettes.
I called a Corvette shop. We called ¿Cuál más marqué? We called a bunch.
Both eran de Corvette shop.
Oh, it was just two from Corvette shops. We called a couple other mechanics, but and they all, like, two of them said that they saw our post on Facebook actually, but
Wow.
that they couldn't intervene or get it, or that it wasn't in their, like, basically their range.
Yeah, like,
or
it's not in
whatever.
their scope to go look at those issues at somewhere else, but they definitely repair them. So we'll give you some language as well to talk to them and say, hey, we want to tow this. We want to tow our
Question.
vehicle over.
You can edit posts on Facebook. Did you offer to put, hey, if you come here and look at this for me, I'll put in the Facebook post that you were the mechanic that helped me fix
Yeah,
this?
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Did you tell them that?
No.
No, we have not. We didn't tell them that.
I mean, they pay a lot of money for marketing, and this post is not only has had a lot of views, but it's going to be one of the #1 results for the city that you're in for cars. Like, it's got a lot of activity on it. It has 1,000 shares. 1,000 shares.
Mhm.
I would
mean,
be shocked
A
if
shop
that.
would pay big money for that advertising, and all you want them to do is come out and evaluate it. Maybe they'll be willing to because of the liability.
You know what we're going to do?
reasons.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have one of our law clerks. I'm going to give the script to one of our law clerks, and he's going to call 5 places with the script that I wrote for him. And I'm going to be shocked if we don't have 2 people diving over themselves that want to help
Well,
you get
and
an analysis.
There's two
of this.
aspects here, though.
Yeah.
They may not be willing to do it at someone else's shop for the very reason that these people don't have insurance.
Then
Yeah.
they'll tow
So
it for
when
the
we
post.
work on the script will be, will you come and get the car, take it to your shop, and evaluate it as part of the advertising? Now, maybe you won't ultimately have them do the work or not. That's a separate story, but you can't do anything until it's
Yeah, that sounds
evaluated.
good.
So,
I have a question about the story, just so I know the whole story. So you took it in for an oil change, then it falls off. Were there any? And now they're saying we'll fix the cosmetic stuff, but nothing that was already, they said, already wrong with the car. Is there any paper trail from them where before they did the oil change, like, hey, we got your car up here for the oil change. Looks like you got X, Y, and Z internally
Right,
wrong.
these things
Do you
were
want us to
already
fix
wrong.
it? And then you guys are like, no, just do the oil change. Then the car falls off. Now they're saying, hey, we'll do the cosmetic, but none of that's, like, did they say there was stuff internally, or are they just basically admitting by default,
Do you have, like,
hey,
a-
we're not going to do the inside stuff after it fell?
Dile que ellos le dijeron a mi hermano que que ellos dijeron ayer en la reunión que le habían dicho a mi hermano que tenía un problema en la transmisión, pero mi hermano dice que no le dijeron eso.
They met my uncle yesterday with their lawyer through the Zoom meeting call, and they said that they let him know beforehand that there was something wrong with his transmission, although my uncle says they never told him that.
Yeah.
So there's no
it's
proof that
just
they
a
did that.
matter of so it's just a matter of like yes, no. Like they're saying we told you.
What
and he's
year?
saying,
What year is
didn't.
this Corvette? What year is
¿Qué
it?
año es el perro?
2008.
2008.
Okay.
They're like, your transmission's messed up from a fall. Not our fault.
Yeah.
Did your car ever fall on its side before?
Well, maybe the car was drunk. You know, I don't know. Okay, so what we're gonna do, this is a little unorthodox. We're gonna have the law clerk make the calls for you. You know, I think your English is fine, but obviously there's a little bit of a language barrier, so you feel more comfortable with the translator. So you know, we'll have a clerk do the calls for you. They basically do whatever we tell them to do. But
They're nice guys, pliable.
yeah, but I'm sorry that you're going through this, but also I want to tell you there's some good news here, right? The good news is that the whole community has come out to support you. The fact that you have 1,000 shares.
I saw that. Yeah.
And because of that post, we're able to have this conversation. And we're gonna make sure that you get some follow-up support and at least help you get an idea of what the amount of damages are so that you can properly negotiate with the building, okay? Or with the mechanic shop.
Sounds great.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in. It was happy talking to you.
Thank you, guys.
We'll follow up. Shoot me your email in the direct message we have, okay?
Okay. Thank you,
Sure.
All right,
guys. Appreciate
thank
it.
you. Thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I just think that main thing that I asked, because the mechanic shop is obviously going to say like, oh, there was internal stuff. So it's like if they don't have a paper trail, if they don't have a text message they sent that the uncle, or they don't have an email, or
Well, and it doesn't sound like they even gave any details. Like, this is what the issue was, right?
Yeah.
You know, and also, what does issue mean, right? Like, it's got a little hiccup going from third to fourth. Okay, fine, whatever. It's a 2008. But, like, what? Well, it actually shows that it was smashed on the side. You know, like,
Yeah.
well, how the fuck did I drive it in here then?
Okay, well, the transmission has rust on it. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. The transmission is in the back seat.
Yeah.
I don't think this is not a pre-existing condition.
This is now a rear engine vehicle. Sorry, wrong model year.
And even if they called to tell the uncle, as a business, you should, I mean, this sounds like I don't even have insurance, but like you should have some sort of paper trail. You should send an email or a text at least, like, hey, just so you know, we got it up here. Looks like there's some problems. Do you want us to fix those? You know what I mean? The transmission.
Yeah.
So you're thinking like an innocent person, and what you have to remember here is that they're intentionally doing everything they can to not pay for the damage.
Oh, yeah,
they
no, I
caused.
know.
So
That's
they're
what I'm saying.
calling when it should have been an email. This meeting should have been an email, except they did it, and they don't want to get caught.
Well, they're saying that they told the uncle before it fell, which
Right.
is like,
No
okay,
record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right
do you-
after they banged Halle Berry. You know?
What are your thoughts on this call?
I don't know anything about cars, but what I know is, like, for example, I have a brother, and he just hit a curb, and his car was like, it's not an old one, but just hitting a curb already broke his transmission. So with our caller's perspective, it's not really impossible that their transmission got broken after.
You said
the
you're not
fall.
good at cars, right? You don't know a lot. Can
Yeah.
you spot the problem in this picture?
Okay.
Can you spot the problems? Let's play. What do you think? What would you say is wrong with this picture?
Oh my gosh, that's very wrong.
It's very wrong. Yeah.
Yes.
This looks like, someone at least did a bad parking job at an absolute
Yeah.
absolute minimum. Jeff, what do you see as wrong in this picture?
It's mostly on its side.
Yes.
And not on the wheels.
Now
As
is
a
this
side sleeper,
It's a little
I like this
broken.
position.
now I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about cars. I think this is what they call two-wheel drive.
Yeah.
This is a trick maneuver.
Looks like a not so hot wheel.
It's absolutely ridiculous when you think about the weight of a vehicle going sideways onto it from that height, and such a sensitive vehicle as a Corvette. Any sports car, they're not built to land on their sides. Dodge truck, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. But
Yeah, it's not like a Jeep with like roll bars and stuff.
right.
I think Schwarzenegger drove a car like that in Twins for remember that movie?
Yeah. That was a good one.
I too
Long
am
time
a
ago.
millennial.
Well, we're excited to help. You know, one of the things that's interesting, and I think a good lesson here, is that the social media posts of calling out a business on their bad behavior can often generate not only sympathy from the community, but an ability to help. And that's, I think, one of the things that Josh identified, is that there are folks that you can get connected to that can be helpful, that they just don't even know necessarily how they could be, but we can make that happen. And so I think it's a really creative solution.
Hey, real quick, I got a legal question for you guys. What are the chances something like this, these people end up with a good result? Like, clearly they got screwed by the shop. The shop doesn't have insurance. What are the chances after they do everything the right way, they get, you know, the car fixed by them, or the money for it, or, you know what I mean?
Because I'm able to actually see the building itself and like what kind of cars it's working on, I don't think these guys are flush with cash. It doesn't feel like they have 15 grand lying around that they could actually pay. The real question that you have here is, like, what happens when you can't wring water out of a rock, right? Like,
Yeah.
or you can't get blood out of a rock, I think is another, or a hair
off
on
of
an
an
egg.
Hair off of an egg, yeah.
Some with an egg.
It's going to make no sense the way we post these videos, but because it's a call at a time.
I
So
get it.
only our hardcore listeners get that. Make sure you check out our other calls.
Check out the Easter eggs. They all have hair on them.
Yes. Still perfectly edible, but probably I think the best case scenario here is some type of payment plan or garnishment. But I think, like, even like in the best possible case scenario, that it's going to take time for them to get their money back. I think the best case scenario is they have an independent mechanic come out and he's like, surprisingly, this car was like really strong and there's like 1,500 worth of damage here. Then you have this shop fix the cosmetic because they have access to the ability to fix it. And then also, you know, put that extra 1,500 or $2,000 grand in. Labor is the thing that they can do here. I mean, you might not trust them.
Yeah.
But if they
That's
are,
the thing about trusting. As you were saying that, I was like, these are the people that are going to be forced to work on your car, and they're already clearly.
But yes, but like also trying to be pragmatic about it. Like, all it takes is one guy who it's his first day on the job and he doesn't know how to do an oil change and he's making like $11 an hour, and like that can destroy this vehicle. That does not mean that somewhere
The
in
rest
this
of the
company
shop is
they
not.
don't have like a 20-year mechanic.
Oh
who
no,
knows
I'm not
what he's
saying that.
doing.
I'm not saying they couldn't do it. I'm saying you're trusting that they don't seem to be on the up and up as far
No.
as like ethically.
Right,
So
right.
like, what if they just do some minor stuff to make it run well, and then a week later it all goes to shit, and they're like, hey, we did our thing.
This
You know,
goes
we
back
fixed
to
it.
the problem of poverty. If you look at the building, I think we'll post a picture of the building with the identifying information. No one's going to this building who has a lot of options. No one has $1 million in their 401k and they're picking this as the mechanic shop. They're advertising quick, cheap, probably cash, probably some under the table stuff. So like this is
10% chance the car falls off.
yeah.
Right. For a 40% discount off a $15 oil change? Absolutely.
Listen, we said this would be a 5-minute oil change. This lady got it for free. Get that car down. I don't care how you do it. Drive it off if you have to. I'm not giving a $29 oil change.
They're like, they call it like, hey, good news and bad news. Good news is free oil change. Bad news.
Bad news.
Car fell.
That is exactly how that lady left that car here before I saw it. All I
This
did
is
was
how it
change
came
the
in.
oil. Yeah, she drove in on the side like some kind of 2-wheel drive idiot. All right. If you guys have a mechanic that is being shady, or you just have some car problems and you want to talk to a lawyer about it, reach out to us.
And if you have a mechanic that you trust and love, post about them. Give them some love in the comments. Link to their websites. It's just as important to point out the bad actors and to point out the good actors, the ones who are doing good in the community. If there's one you trust, make sure to let your fans and friends and neighbors know about it. Thank you for listening to Hardly Legal.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're going to be here for you when you need that cheap date.